Alright, today we're going to talk about how to match needles to nipples to thread. So these are some products that we sell in the store, the Schmetz and Oregon Chainstitch and Chenille needles, they're last but not least. So some nomenclature. These are your hook needles and nipples. And so the way that your machine works is the needle goes down through the nipple, the looper wraps thread around the hook, and then the hook needle brings the thread back up into the nipple. So a little bit of detail. The Schmetz needles are going to be metric sizing, while the Oregon needles are all standard sizing. So you're going to see me switch back and forth between needle bars a few times in this video. For our canvas, so to speak, we are using scrim felt. This is a wool and synthetic blend over a mesh of cotton. We're going to use two types of thread. This is our 100% cotton C-cord, and this is something we're trying out. This is a mercerized cotton 220. So it's 2-ply of cotton number 20 thread. It's a little bit smaller than the cotton. So the cotton, we're going to start using a number 5 needle and 6 nipple. I've got these paired so that I can just get right into it. So I am using a number 5 Schmetz needle here, which means that I need to make sure to use a metric needle bar. We sell these in our web store. And the needle should screw all the way up to the top of the thread. The shank on these needles is threaded, as you probably know by now. So we want a nice and secure fit. I'm going to be using a number 6 nipple. Per the Ruth Franklin book, she is always suggesting to use one size larger nipple than your needle, and this is to accommodate the extra bulk of the thread. So as the needle goes up through the nipple, there's some extra diameter and the thread doesn't get all shredded. That's one way that you can tell if your needle-nipple combination, needle-nipple thread combination isn't correct, is if you have some thread shredding. So I'm just going to go ahead and work this through the tension assembly on the machine. Thread goes from behind up over and around the tension discs and then through the take-up spring. It's my threading wire to pull the thread through the front hole of the needle plate. Usually I don't have to lift the machine up and rock it on its hinges so many times, just for illustrative purposes. Okay, so here we are ready to sew. Take a couple of stitches and break off the tail. I'm going to move the needle bar up to pull some more thread through the needle plate, essentially increasing our line weight, and this allows me to fill this large area more quickly. See here, I'm just going to drop the needle bar back down. A nice handy little stop collar, putting this back into the outline position, creating a finer line weight. It's a nice little tool. We have those in stock right now as well. All right, and so for illustrative purposes, here's me bringing the needle up really high. This is the same thread. I haven't changed anything except the needle height. You can see how much fatter that line weight is. Up close it doesn't look very good, but you know, we're not building churches here, so to speak. Alright, so I am going to actually move down from a size 5-6 nipple combination down to a 4-5. Sort of the rule of thumb when you're selecting your needle size on really any sewing project is that you want to have the smallest needle possible to do the work correctly. So whether that means the smallest needle to make the smallest hole in the fabric you're sewing through, or the smallest needle possible that will carry the thread that you're using, that's just sort of a good rule of thumb. It works sort of the same way that tension works, right? Like you want to use the least amount of tension possible to create a nice looking stitch. So we suggest using a size 5/6 needle nipple combination with this thread, but just for the sake of showing you that you can play around and have some fun and figure out what works best for you, we're going to use a 4/5 needle nipple combination here. I'm switching back and forth between Organ and Schmetz needles, so as I'm doing this you'll see me off to the side, off camera, grab a couple of different needle bars. As I mentioned before, the Organ needles and Singer needles are standard thread pitch on the shank, and the Schmetz are metric. So if you're going to be using a plethora of different needle manufacturers and sizes, it's a good idea to pick up both of those, otherwise you'll incorrectly thread your needles and needle bars and wear both out. So one of the other advantages of using a smaller needle is that the hook point is actually shorter on the smaller needles than it is on the larger needles. You know, as the needle size goes up, the entire needle grows, and so the reason that that's important in practice is if you're using a smaller needle size, you can actually bring the needle down lower and lower to create a finer stitch. So here I am switching from the C-cord 100% cotton to the 220 mercerized thread, and I'm starting off, this is a smaller thread, but I'm going to start off with the same 4/5 needle nipple combination. Take a couple of stitches, break the tails off. And so, you know, if you only wanted to use just these two threads, you could probably get away with just using a size 4/5 needle nipple. But as you'll see here in just a second, I'm going to go down all the way to a 2/3 needle nipple combo, and that will actually hopefully illustrate to you just how fine of a stitch you can get, and that just because one combination is recommended to you doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct. You know, don't quote it as verse. This is all to say, part of the fun of chain stitching is just fooling around, messing around with stuff. You know, that's part of the adventure. So in practical terms, one reason that you might want to try a smaller needle is because one, it makes a smaller hole in the fabric, but as needles go up in size, the anatomy of the entire needle scales up. So a number 2 needle has a much shorter point than a number 6 or 7 needle, and so that actually allows you to drop the needle bar lower, pulling less and less thread through the machine, and that creates a finer line weight and a finer stitch. So I'm going to put a chart up here in the corner of the video. This is from one of the Ruth Franklin books. You can find a ton of fantastic resources on ruthfranklinbonaz.com. I highly suggest going over there for any questions that you may have. There are answers to in writing, well thought out by our patron saint, Miss Franklin herself. So we have all of these products in the video available for sale on our website. We'll put some links down in the description, And yeah, look forward to hearing from y'all soon.